Are you responsible for the project management, especially being driven by the scheduling with all the involved project partners? Then I will show you how you can digitize your scheduling, including planning and control with all your partners across the entire organizational project structure. I'm Andreas, the coordinator of the expert group of Project Schedule Management Synchronization. But first, look at what happened to Julia.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm the responsible project manager for building the next Mars Rover. This is a great challenge. Body, engine, transmission, wiring harnesses, electronics, software. There's a lot of work to do, and there are more than 700 suppliers we need to work with. Together with my team, I have decided on a classical project approach. We first recorded the requirements for the product and defined the scope of the project. After this, I derived the necessary work packages and created a schedule. As we have a tight timeline, I forwarded the target dates to all suppliers right at the beginning of the project. I felt well prepared, but it quickly turned out that it was a massive effort to manage the plan coordination within the partner network. Over the time, I discovered that the deadline information and feedback were again and again interpreted differently by me, my team, and our suppliers. In addition, work packages were often not updated promptly or were lost in the flood of emails. Each supplier seemed to work with its own methods and tools. I had to align everything manually and could not get away from paper, email, and telephone. I often asked myself how to coordinate all the changes and schedule impacts with all the affected parties. Was my schedule still actual, reliable, and meaningful? And overall, with all this manual coordination work I had to do, I didn't even have time for my actual project management tasks.
Hello, I'm Tom. My company has been contracted by Julia to develop and produce the landing gear and propulsion system for the Mars Rover. Because of the complex and challenging system, some parts are developed and produced by external suppliers who are subcontracted by us. Despite a proven classic project management approach for these components, it's a balancing act to coordinate all participants. Beside Julia, we have several other customers. Therefore, a synchronization between other customer projects is an additional challenge. Not only each supplier, but also each customer seems to use different methods and tools. That means I have a lot of translation work to do. This takes additional time and is another source of errors. I suppose the telephone games effect has also a negative influence. There are many players in the game, which leads to that some information might be incorrect transmitted or even not arrive at all.
Hi, I'm NORBERT, working as software developer for the company which Tom subcontracted. We program the functional steering software for his hardware modules. As a small team, we are organized in an agile Scrum setup with a quite dynamic and ad hoc prioritization of our work packages and our tasks. Of course, we have agreed on joint deadlines delivering our releases to our customer. But the scope of the delivered software packages differ according to the prioritization made in our planning meetings. Sometimes this prioritization is very difficult for our customer, but he is still asking for a weekly project progress report from our side. Thus, reporting a clear and defined weekly status is very difficult, as we work in 3-week sprint cycles with our internal prioritization according to our progress. My customer Tom is asking regularly about the progress, what causes stress and additional work for me and my team. Additionally, some work packages take longer than expected, while some others turn out to be very simple problems which can be easily solved and even faster solved. This reprioritization during the sprint cycles causes again more coordination efforts from both sides as it interferes with Tom's internal project schedule and ends up in often dissatisfied meetings on both sides.
One day, I met my friend Carla and told her about my current situation. Carla works in the same industry as I and had a similar problem some time ago. But that is history, she surprised me. She now applies the PSM recommendations created by the ProStep Association and VDA, the industry standard for cross-organizational project schedule management synchronization, short PSMS. Carla explained to me that in 2 simple steps, everyone can use this standard for their own project. First step, follow the recommended architecture and set of rules. With this, the coordination between all parties in the network can be enormously simplified and accelerated. Second step, convert the tools to PSMS compliant interfaces. In this way, many steps in the schedule synchronization process can be automated. And that even without losing company-specific customizations and individual applications.
How does it work? Quite simple. The coordinator and his project partners synchronize their specific plans via a few PSM messages as predefined in the standard. Each PSM message has a clear structure and a defined scope. The content adapts flexible depending on the relation to the respective synchronization and the required information. Thanks to the consistent set of rules and the internationally standardized information model behind it, almost all conceivable use cases can be implemented without any problems. And hey, most typical use cases are already described in the standard anyway. Secondly, the coordinator and his partners implement the PSM messages in the interfaces, and the specifications for communication and synchronizations are automated based on the standardized PSM business object model and by following the rules. That's all, and it works. Because now each partner communicates with the others using the common PSMS language. They understand each other, regardless of their systems and whether they use a classic, traditional, agile or even hybrid approach.
I was so impressed that I immediately arranged a meeting with my team and partners to implement the PSM recommendations in our common project.
I use the PSM exchange approach beside with Julia, also with all of my suppliers. Therefore, I'm independent of the scheduling tools and methods, which are used by my customers and suppliers. Now I'm confident that all relevant information reaches all of my stakeholders correctly because of the defined roles and clear responsibilities and their simple relation and coordination step among them. I'm enthusiastic. This allows to control even the most complex project structures and networks. And why? Because everybody speaks the same PSM language.
Really, there's nothing more to add from my side. I totally agree with this collaboration setup provided by the ProStep IVIP team. Communication is now clear for everybody involved, and collaborative progress can be analyzed, documented, and tracked in a centralized solution. And this despite the highly dynamic projects with multiple dependencies between all project partners. This really is a huge step forward for all of us.
The standardized automatic synchronization and cascading of the schedules creates transparency for all parties involved at any point in the project and in all phases. Gone are the days when schedules were split, merged, or only communicated in full. Because PSMS also supports resource-saving incremental data supply to the partners and systems. The PSMS can be introduced in an agile and phased manner. The coordinated functional extension stages even make it possible that partners at different so-called synchronization levels could still play in the same project team. And Julia can now rely on the timeliness of the schedules, because the information is now transparent not only to her. When changes occur, she and her partners are automatically notified, and she finally has the project under control again. Julia and her partners are thrilled. The times are over in which one laboriously picks out scheduling information from emails or telephone notes, manually transferred to one's own planning, and elaborately distributes feedback on status, releases, or changes. Thanks to the implementation of the PSM recommendations, all parties involved are now on schedule, and the transparency increases dramatically. Synchronize your schedule management with your partners too. The PSM recommendations can be found at prostep.org. We, the PSM Project Group, cordially invite you to join us for the purpose of exchanging experiences in the individual implementations and further development of the PSM standard. You're welcome.